I'm back on. Oh, sorry about that, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to another session of Easy Dharma for the New Normal. So today I'll continue on with the part two, another session of a reading of the Wheel of Sharp Weapons. Right? We'll be doing from verse 13. I finished verse 15 the previous week, not last week, but the week before that. But because I think the transmission was so good, so I was told to repeat the last part. So I'll do that. And as per normal, before I continue, I'll just go on to and see who's on. Let me see. It's loading. Give me a moment. Okay, good. I'm online, live. And hello, good evening, David Chu, Jillian, Moon Ting, and Sukfan, and some other people. I don't see everyone. Pastor, of course, who is here in the background. Today we'll be doing the Wheel of Sharp Weapons. All right. So, okay, what was interesting was the last session, Sharon Ong, she asked a question about the difference between self-grasping and self-cherishing mind. So I just did some reading about it, and I will, before we go into the reading, let's talk about it. Self-grasping and self-cherishing. All right, so this is what Chung posted. Self-cherishing and self-grasping are different aspects of the one deluded mind. Self-grasping grasps at an inherently existent I, and self-cherishing believes that such an I is precious and that its happiness and freedom are supremely important. Self-cherishing is our normal view that believes I am important, and my happiness and my freedom are important, and that neglects others' happiness and freedom. So let me elaborate about it, okay? According to the Buddha, everything about us, how we relate to people and situations, arises from this concept of a self, an identity of a self. So this self-identification is what we call a the I or the ego. And the problem about it is it doesn't actually exist, but we believe it exists. And this belief it exists is not real. Hence, it's called inherently existent, not inherently existent. That means it doesn't really exist, but we believe it exists. We act as if it exists, but actually it does not. So what does that mean? It means that our ego constantly needs to be reaffirmed. It constantly needs to be stroked. It constantly needs to be told that it exists. It constantly need to reassure it. It's highly insecure. So that's what it is. All right. So there's two aspects to it. Okay. One is the aspect of the consciousness of it. That means it believes that it exists. So what it is usually an easy way to look at it is your name. Like Pastor David, the concept of myself is based on my name, Pastor David. So self-grasping is I grasp onto this concept that David really exists. So because I exist, I need to work for it. I need to make sure that it's comfortable. I need to make sure that it's reassured that people like Pastor David. People would listen to Pastor David. People would do things. So from that comes self-cherishing. So it's this two comes together. It comes together. It said that the king, the master, is self-grasping, and then the attendant is self-cherishing. But it comes together actually. All right, so I don't know if that makes any sense to you. If you have any questions regarding that, let me know. Let me see, there's a lot of people come on already. Let me see. Woon Teng, hello, good evening. Pastor Hani, Guang Ming, Pastor Gimli, King Hui, and Jerry and Martin. So the difference between self-grasping and self-cherishing, let me be a little bit more clear. Self-grasping is your concept of the self, the I. You grasp on it, so you believe that it is real. And in Buddhism, it's said that the concept of of a self is imputed. I am? Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, I have to refresh my page to see what's going on. Okay, let me see. Oh, I've gone to the wrong page. Kechara. I do not know if you got what I said just now, so I would have to repeat it. Okay, I'm going to repeat it a little quickly. It's the difference between self-cherishing and self-grasping. All right, self-grasping is the projection. We project this self-identity. Is the identity, the false identity, the belief in a self-cherishing, no, not self-cherishing, but belief in the concept of self, that it is real, it is solid, it is unchanging. Okay, so from this concept of the self, we want to make sure that this self is reassured. We want to make sure that the ego is not, this self is not challenged by anybody or any situation. It is comfortable. We want to make sure that it is better, that it's doing better than other people. It's getting the same or better than other people, the same treatment, the same the same material goods, the same pleasure, and so forth. All right, so that will become self-cherishing. So from the self, you want to do things to cherish it, to make sure it's taken care, to make sure that it's better than people, same or better, usually better. Okay, so we usually do things at the expense of others. Sometimes, most of the time, sometimes subconsciously, sometimes we just do it because we are so used to it from many lifetimes. So that is self-cherishing. So I hope that's pretty clear. And why I want to bring it up, firstly, well, because Sharon asked me. And the second thing is, in a commentary of the Wheel of Sharp Weapons talks about it. It said that the spirit in which the texts, the verses were composed, was based on the fact that all our problems, all our difficulties, all the karmic retribution that we experience in life, whatever it may be, arises because of this self-grasping and self-cherishing mind. These two types of grasping. So because of this, what happens is from that comes all our negative karma, all our bad habits, all our the bad things that happen to us and the bad things we do to others. Everything comes from that. All our bad circumstances arises from it. So understanding this and uprooting this, it even in each verse, it even tells you how to uproot it. And in doing so, you achieve a greater, compassion for others. Because when you uproot self-cherishing, obviously you become others cherishing. Instead of self-cherishing oneself, we cherish others. So that will become the basis of compassion. That's why this text is considered the Mahayana text, because it is about actually uprooting the self-cherishing in order to cherish others. All right? So that's important aspect. Actually, the question was very good because it goes into the meaning of the text itself. All right. So I don't think anybody has any question. Maybe I was too bombastic, but if any question comes to mind, just let me know. All right. Okay, here we go. Last week I was going from verse 1 to verse 15. Okay, so I'll go on 13 because the transmission, the last time I did this was not very good. Here it goes, verse 13. When we lack any freedom, we must obey others. That is the wheel of sharp weapons returning full circle upon the wrongs we have done. Till now we have looked down upon those who were lowly and used them as servants for our own selfish needs. Hereafter, let's offer our service to others with humble devotion of body and life. So what does this mean? When we encounter a situation in life where we do not have control, some people actually, when you don't have control, doesn't mean that someone treats you like a slave, or doesn't necessarily have to be like that. It's just that we feel we don't have control of our lives, we don't have control of our careers, we don't have say in, let's say, in a family, let's say a situation in the family or in our social life, we are dominated by someone else. Whatever it is, when we feel we do not have control, and what's the cause of it? It is said that the cause of it is because we've used others. We look down on others. We look down on others and we use them for selfish reasons. So it doesn't mean that we were slave drivers, we were like some wealthy slaves, with lots of slaves. It does not mean that. What it means is, in the past, we have saw this segregation in others, and people. The transmission is still on, right? Yeah. Okay. We have actually exploited others, use others for our benefit, exploited people. So the karma comes back to you. In this life, you are being exploited. You feel like you're being exploited. Not necessarily you could be, or you may not be, but you feel the same thing. You do not have control. That's the karma arising from exploiting people and looking down on people. All right. Let me see. Why is my video interrupted? I have to refresh the screen. So, oh, sorry. So I hope you got what I just said. Let me repeat it again. If you feel in any circumstances, you feel that you do not have control. It could be circumstances when you're in a job that you have no control, you're being exploited by your superiors, by your job, by your bosses, by your business partners, whatever it is. Or you're in a family, you're dominated by a certain family member, a parent, a spouse, or a relative, whatever it may be. Or you could be in a social situation where you have friends that dominate you. They tell you what to do and you feel that you have no control of your life, or a particular aspect of your life. Not necessarily your entire life, but a particular aspect of your life. So where does this arises? It arises because in the past, you have done the same. People have done this to you. You have done this to others. You have created a situation where you look down on people and you dominated them and you controlled them and you exploited them. So the karma comes back to you in that sense, where you are dominated, where you are controlled by others. So this is basically the meaning of this verse. All right, that is verse 13. Okay, let's go to verse 14. Verse 14 is, when we hear only language that is foul and abusive, this is the wheel of sharp weapons returning full circle upon the wrongs we have done. Till now we have said many things without thinking. We have slandered and caused many friendships to end. Hereafter, let's censure all thoughtless remarks. Okay, that's quite straightforward. What it means is that when we always come across people who are rude to us, who say things that hurt us, not just particular one person, it's in general. A lot of people come up and do that to us, loved ones, strangers, whatever. Why is that? Because it is said here, it is because we have done so to others and we have been unmindful before. Unmindful in how we have addressed people. We have been rude. We have used harsh speech. We have slandered people. it says here that we've slandered and caused many friendships to end. So the wheel of sharp weapons returning full circle, that means karma has come back to us in a sense that we hear like people saying nasty things to us all the time. So because of that, we should not take that to heart, and we should accept this as karma. And so we make sure we do not do the same to others. So we get karma goes in circular ways. When people do it to us, and then we do it to others, so it comes back and forth, and it never ends. So the idea about this text is to break this cycle. So when people were rude to us, we don't be rude back to them. We don't shout back and we say back nasty things, or we slander them, or we gossip about them. We don't do that. So what happens is we break the cycle by accepting and have patience. All right? And make sure that we control our speech, most important. Okay? That's quite straightforward. Okay, does anybody have any questions? Let me see. Chung has something here to say. When we make use of someone, the reflexive energy of this person would be one that would like to make us under their chain and command instead. This is the energy that will come back to us. Right, that's true. Verse 15. When we are born in oppressive and wretched situations, or conditions, this is the wheel of sharp weapons returning full circle upon the wrongs we have done. Till now, we have always had a negative outlook. We have criticized others, seeing only their flaws. Hereafter, let's cultivate positive feelings and view our surroundings as stainless and pure. So what does that mean? When we are born in a situation that is wretched and oppressive, a difficult situation could be a war-torn place, it could be a poverty-stricken place, it could be a bad part of the neighborhood, whatever it may be. It is the environmental result of having criticized and seeing flaws in people, seeing faults in people. So yeah, we have to watch our speech. This seems to be very speech-oriented, this part of the wheel of sharp weapons. So we have used our speech to criticize people needlessly, and we only want to see negative things in people, and that's quite important in the sense that, because we do it quite often. For some of us, we are very, very critical of people and situations, and so we always do that. We always, everything that comes out of our mouth is a criticism. It is to say something negative about somebody. All we see is that. The problem is not just what we say, it's what we say comes from what we see. And what we see is how we perceive things. It's not how things really are. That's the problem about a self-cherishing mind. A self-cherishing mind is a mind that views people and situations lower, negatively, for whatever reasons we may be, for whatever motive. Like we are jealous, it could be we are angry, it could be we are full of pride, whatever it may be. We judge people all the time, and we're so used to it, it just comes automatically. And the problem about it, the more we do, the more it reinforces this self-cherishing mind, and we do even more. So we get used to it. We become more prone to it. We become even good at it. We become a great critic, not as in a critic of film and all that, but a critic of everybody but ourselves. So that's what it is. So that is the wheel of sharp weapons for having. Because of that, the environmental result is not the main problem, but the environment. What's the environmental result? Environmental result is because when we do an action of criticizing others, there's many types of karmas that comes back. One of the karma that comes back is we were born in a situation as wretched, difficult, poverty-stricken. It could be a war-torn place. It could be a nasty part of the neighborhood, whatever it is. Okay. Okay, let's go on to the next. If you have any questions, just let me know. When we are parted from friends and from those who can help us. This is the wheel of sharp weapons returning full circle upon the wrongs we have done. Till now we have taken friends and good servants of others away, wanting them for ourselves. Hereafter let's never cause close friends to part. So basically what happens is when we have good friends, good people, good friends, relatives, colleagues, and we cannot keep them near us, not necessarily, it's not a conscious thing like we try to keep them, they go, it's that they go on their own volition because of circumstances, because whatever it may be. And what happens is, this is because in the past we have said things, we have been selfish, we wanted to actually keep people to us. There's two here, one is wanting them for ourselves. It could be that it's a friend we do not wish to share with others. We only want to hang out with this friend. It could be we only want to be with this colleague, and we don't want them to hang out with other people because they would take this person away from us. It almost sounds like a lover. It could be a lover, but not necessary, because we come across situations where we are very overly protective of friends, and we do not want them to mix with others. So that why? Because why we do that is the key. Why do we want only one person to us and not with others? Is the key of why this is extremely self-cherishing. It's because this person benefits us. Either this person entertains us, this person gives us material goods, perhaps this person is wealthy, this person gives us connections, this person's benefit us. And we don't want this person's attention to be diverted to others, so they will not be able to benefit us as much. Ding! Sorry about the sound effects, but see? Because this person if this person has another friend, so this person will not have time to entertain us, to benefit us, to share, spend us on a nice meal, spend us on good shopping, sometimes healthy friends, give us some perks, gifts. And because they have other friends to think about and occupy their time. So we don't want that to happen. I'm just talking on a friendship level. If it's lover, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. And what happens is it's suffocating. For lover, it's even more severe in a sense that it suffocates your lover, your spouse, your lover, your partner, whatever it is, whatever word you want to use. It suffocates this person because we just want this person to me, myself, and I, because I love this person so much. And why? Because, it's your lover, it's your partner. You just want them to give you attention only to you. It's a very extremely self-cherishing over others, right? Okay, so because of that, the result is that we cannot keep people near us. People will always part of us. So in other words, you know what it means? We become lonely. We will be very, very lonely. All right, so that is verse 16. Sounds ominous, isn't it? Hello, Hui Ying Ming. Sorry. Hui Ying. And Tsatsa, hello. And Chung says, verse 15, the way I see it is that if you go around saying ear, this ear, that, ear, this ear, that, then everything ear, aren't we seeing the world only ear and therefore creating the cause for it to be really ear?
Ear as in
Ear. Oh, okay. No, it's yeah. What you say is correct. But Chung says it's a matter of perception. No, the verse is very clear. It says you'll be born in such situation. It's not that you perceive the situation as difficult and wretched. It's you will be born in that situation. That's the difference. If you perceive and see it as wretched is different. This is you are born in a wretched situation. What it means is it's an environmental result. Every action that we do have environmental results, not just the result resembling the cause, meaning like when you hit someone, you will get hurt in return. This one is an additional environmental. So when you do that to others, when you criticize people all the time, the karma will come back that you'll be born in such situations. All right, so we don't want that karma to open for us. And verse 17. When Supreme Holy Gurus find us displeasing, this is the wheel of sharp weapons returning full circle upon us from the wrongs we have done. Till now we have turned from the Gurus and teachings, preferring the counsel of misleading friends. Hereafter let's end our dependent relations with those who would turn us away from the path. Okay, this is very interesting in the sense that in what situation would the Guru be unhappy with us? You just have to think a little bit. Don't take it just as it is. In what situations will we, when we do, what kind of situations or what kind of behavior or what kind of actions we do that makes the Guru not happy with us? It's very simple. It's when we do negative actions, when we do actions that counter the Dharma, or it could be we take people away from the Dharma, or we could be disruptive, meaning our negative behaviors cause people to lose faith in the Dharma, or we don't keep our commitments. We always say we will, but we don't. We lie, we cheat, and all sorts of things. So this will displease the Guru. In this situation. So because of that, sometimes what happens is, okay, let's go to the bottom in the sense that those actions will displease the Guru. Negative actions, in other words, negative actions that counter the Dharma. So what happens is, why do we do these things? Usually it doesn't usually arise from us. It usually arises from because we have been entertaining negative thoughts. Negative thoughts is also synonymous with negative friends. All right, misleading friends here. Negative thoughts. Perhaps we feel it's unfair. We're angry about someone. We're angry at a teacher even for telling us to do the Dharma, for making us commit. Some of us. We're angry at friends, spiritual friends. We're angry at this. We're not happy with this. We're not happy with that. That's one. Or it could be a friend telling you why you want to listen to the Guru teach. Why you want to go and waste time in the temple? Come lah, let's go drinking. Come, let's go to the pub. Come, let's go shopping. Forget about, So that is very innocent at the moment. So it's not negative in itself. But over time, it will lead to negative actions because we stray away from that. We give up our commitments. Over time, we give up what we're supposed to do. Over time, we don't do what we're supposed to do. Over time, we go lesser and lesser and lesser and lesser. And then what little Dharma that we do, we are totally abandoned eventually. So that's what displeases the Guru. So the Guru may ultimately show it or may not, but that is what displeases the Guru. So actually it is not the Guru that we should be worried. It's actually our karma. Okay, our potential to be the best that we can, the spiritual self. In order to reach the spiritual self, we need to rely on a Guru. I'm talking of the inner Guru, the Guru within us. In order to tap into it, we need to rely on the outer Guru. We need an organization. We need spiritual friends to help support us. So when we have a lot of friends outside, and they are more influential than our spiritual friends, there's a danger there. Of course, I cannot be saying, you cannot have normal friends, colleagues. You don't hang out with your friends outside. You only hang out in the center. No, that's not my point. The point is that when the influence of outside friends are stronger than your spiritual friends, then there'll be a danger. The danger, firstly, is to displease your guru, because we start to give up our commitments. We start to stray away from the Dharma. All right? So that's what I feel it's talking about. Let me see if you guys have any other comments. Okay. Yes, Chung, you're referring to the previous verse again. Yes, destroying karma. Okay. Verse 18. When unjustly we are blamed for the misdeeds of others and are falsely accused of flaws that we lack and are always the object of verbal abuse. This is the wheel of sharp weapons returning full circle upon us from the wrongs we have done. Till now we have despised and belittled our gurus. Hereafter, let's never accuse others falsely, but give them full credit for virtues they have. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, when we feel that people have blamed us and it was not justified for the blame or whatever accusations that they hurl at us, we feel it's unjustified and we feel that it's false, okay? And or we are criticized for things that we do not have, flaws that we do not have, qualities that we are told we are a liar, although we have told the truth. We're told that we have manipulated, although we have not. We have only guided positively. Whatever it may be, it is because in the past we have despised and belittled our gurus. It says here, despised and belittled our gurus. So what I feel about that is that may not necessarily directly refer to a guru, but someone who gives us the Dharma or someone who guides us, who gives us good advice. So when people have give you good advice and you slander them and you put them down, you don't listen, and you criticize the advice. All right. So what happens is the result will come back is you get the same thing. You get the same criticism, although you know it's not necessarily in a situation where you are giving advice, but people don't see what you are whatever you are doing as positive, and they will blame you and they will put you down, and they will accuse you and will make up flaws. Okay, so this is the karma of doing the same towards others, especially towards people who give us good advice. Who not necessarily our gurus, but our gurus is the highest. So if it's our gurus, then the karma is very, very heavy. You know, karma has a basis based on who we do it to. It's heavy based on the basis of like our gurus is the worst karma if we do something negative. Our gurus is the worst karma, you know, if we slander or we do anything negative towards our guru, is the worst negative karma. If we do something good, positive, it's the most merits. So our gurus, a monk or a nun comes below that, and then from them, parents, and then from friends, strangers, then it goes like that. There's a certain order in the Lamrim, it is said. So the heavy, the gravity, or the severity, or rather the severity of the karma that comes back to us, it depends on this hierarchy. Okay, this hierarchy comes from where? It's not created by anybody. It's created based on our affinity. Firstly, if it's a friend or a stranger or a parent. And then with the monks, it's not so much as affinity, it's from the vows they hold. Because monks and nuns hold vows that was instituted by the Buddha. So there's a lot of merit. So when we make offerings to the monks, we generate merits. When we criticize the monks, we get a lot of negative karma. When we do negative things in towards monks and nuns, we get a lot of negative karma. All right, and to our gurus, even more, the most. Okay, let's not talk of the Buddhas and all that, right? Because we don't have we don't have the karma to see Buddhas and to do anything negative. And I don't know, maybe you do, but I don't. So in this case, there is severity, levels of severity, all right? Okay, let's go to the next. Oh, sorry. Chung, you mentioned just now you said this will be part of throwing karma. Yeah, it is throwing karma. All right, now let's see. This was verse 18, right? Was that verse 18? Yeah, sorry, I'm slightly dizzy. When the things we require for daily consumption and use fall apart or are wasted or spoiled. This is the wheel of sharp weapons returning full circle upon us to the wrongs we have done. Till now we have been careless with others' possessions. Hereafter, let's give them whatever they need. Okay, if you're living in a community, this is very important. Because sometimes what happens is like this: when it comes to public property, in fact, it's in part of our vows. You have your bodhisattva vows. It's part of vows to maintain things like that, if I remember correctly. One of the vows lah. So it's very important, especially monastic vows. Sorry, monastic vows is very important. So what happens is when our own possessions, we notice a lot of things fall apart, get spoiled. So there is a reason for it. There's a karma arising from it. When they say get spoiled, meaning prematurely, not because after a long period of use, then they fall apart from overuse or from use. This is prematurely. Okay, before they've been used for long periods of time and they've fallen apart, they become spoiled, they become degenerate lah. So what happens is this is a result of karma from abusing the property of others, meaning we've taken people's things and used them in abuse it. We have abused it. So because we have done that, we've been careless with other people's possessions and used them carelessly. So this is the karma that comes back to us. So when I said in a community, I'm talking about. I was thinking in terms of Kechara, but for all of us, not everybody lives in Kechara, but we do live in a community. We do live in a housing area, in a township. We do live in a city or in a kampong or in a small town. Wherever it is you live, you cannot possibly be, a hermit unless you're highly attained. Maybe you are, but I don't know. But most likely you are living in a community. So the roads, the trees, we should have some sort of responsibility inside. We don't have to actually go out and do all the gardening, cleaning of the road and all that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is that we don't abuse it. So what happens, especially outside of our property? So it's important because you just think in a practical sense. All right. So what it means, and especially this is in a community, but sometimes the community can be even smaller within a family, because we share possessions with each other and we tend to abuse other people's possessions. We love it. We like to borrow, for girls, they like to borrow their sisters' dresses and then wear it until it's spoiled and then return it. Or we borrow someone's book and we read it to a point where it's dog-eared, pages are torn, and then return it. Or we use people's computer, whatever it is. The idea is to foster awareness, or foster mindfulness about possession, because the object does not belong to you. It could be belonging to a community, or it could be belonging to another person. Okay, when we abuse another person's possession and we return it in a less than satisfactory condition, then we'll get karma from it. Our own objects, our own possessions will fall into disrepair. All right. All right, so let's go. Verse 20. I'm making progress here. That's cool. When our minds are unclear and our hearts are unhappy, we are bored doing virtue but excited by vice. This is the wheel of sharp weapons returning full circle upon us from the wrongs we have done. Till now we have led others to acts of non-virtue. Hereafter, let's never provide the conditions that rouse them to follow their negative traits. Oh, this is very, very simple. This one is about people who, if you want to go do pujas, 2 hours. The puja is 2 hours, But if it's a movie, let's go. If it's a blockbuster, let's go. If it's gambling, when I want to go now. We are excited when there's a good TV program that runs on. When there's shopping, we can shop for a whole day. Some people go on holiday just to shop. They go on holiday just to buy and buy and buy and walk till they drop, literally shop to their drop. Some people go gambling. Mahjong. People play mahjong the whole night long. Not 2 hours puja. A whole night puja of mahjong puja. Can you imagine that? And 2 hours? So long. Cannot lie. I don't understand the language. No, I don't want to go. See, there's a difference. Or, Kechara Forest Retreat, so far. Takes me 1.5 hours to get there. One month only puja. No time. Cannot make time. If it's Pakute in Klang, there's about half an hour, 1 hour. If it's go eat seafood at where? Where's the place? There's one place, one small town, I can't remember. There's one small famous for seafood. If it's to go to Genting to gamble, let's go. You see how our mind operates? And this is talking about it. Is when we find doing virtuous acts difficult, we feel bored, where is it? Where minds are unclear, we're not sure, I'm not sure whether it has this. Basically, when we say that we don't want to go, we find it too long, it's because we're not sure that it has benefit. We're not so sure that pujas have benefit. We're not sure Doji Shukden really will help us. We're not sure because in our minds, we're just thinking, it's 2 hours. But actually, we can spend 5, 6, 10 hours on other things. Samsaric things that does not benefit us. That actually drains us, in fact. But we are excited. So this is the karma. Because in the past, it says here, in the past, we have led others away from acts of virtue. That means people want to go puja with this. No don't go puja lah. Let's go shopping. Let's go gambling. Let's go eat pakute. Let's do something else. We've done that. So it may not be this live, but I'm just giving you an example. All these are just simple examples, okay? Don't crucify me. Okay, let me see. There's some questions here. Kuala Select 026. That must be the seafood one. Alex Chang. Does that mean that those that committed vice will continue to do so lifetime after lifetime, traversing down the realm of existence? No, that's not what it means. It just means that if you're excited by vice and not excited by virtue, it's because in the past, we have led others, we distracted others and led them towards vice. It's not that they will keep doing it. Actually, even those who keep doing vice, they will eventually wake up one day. There's only so much money you can gamble away, right? Till you realize you don't have money anymore. There's only so much seafood you can eat till you get you get full, you get bored, and then there's only so much shopping till your bank account empties out. So when your bank account empties out, when you're full, and then you realize you make all this effort, and all that you got was a full stomach. And if it's gambling, is worse. You have lost your whole bank account, your savings for a few months, your son's education fund, whatever it is. You realize all that was a waste of time and money and effort. So you got nothing out of it. So realization will hit you. So if it doesn't hit you now, it'll hit you later. So whatever it is, all those things, when you keep doing it over and over and over again, you just create more and more problems. Actually, it just creates more and more problems. It creates more distractions. Some of them is just distraction. Like shopping is a distraction. Maybe not people don't necessarily just buy until they completely use up all their savings. They just do it within their means, but they keep doing it, and it's a distraction. It's to occupy the time. Okay, when they occupy the time and the time was wasted, they get nothing out of it. They don't feel contented. They don't feel happy. Yes, some shopaholics will disagree with me, I'm sure. They will say, oh, the shopping was so therapeutic. But for how long the therapy will, to what extent the therapy will work? Will it solve your problems, your life problems? Will it help you with obstacles? Will it help you with your depression? Will it help you with your, with all the things, all the other issues that you have? So it does not stack up against Dharma because of that. Distractions are not inherently bad, like shopping and all that. It's not bad. Distractions actually, it's just that it wastes the time. So all of us, distractions mean what? It's just an action that we do to occupy the time that doesn't really give you long-term benefit. So Dharma gives you long-term benefit as well as short-term benefit. So what it means is not to abandon all distractions. I wish you can. I wish I could, but we should manage it. That's the idea, is to manage it. Okay, so this verse is actually not about that. This verse is actually about when we find doing things that are of distractions, that are wasting time, that are vice. Okay, more attractive. The key word is more attractive than doing Dharma, doing spiritual, doing virtuous work. It shows that in the past, this is the karma that has arisen because in the past we have led others to vice instead of virtue. That's the meaning. Alex says this, but wouldn't the premise of the wheel of sharp weapons be based on habituation? Habituation is a very general term. A lot of things that we do is based on habituation. Yes, but no. This one delves even deeper. The wheel of sharpens delves into the cause of our habituation, which is, it tells you certain circumstances, but actually in the end, when you read it further down in the verses, it tells you it's not even the small things negative things that you did. It's actually your self-cherishing and self-grasping mind. From this springs off all these negative actions. So you will keep doing it. If you just blame on habituation, just rehabituate. So, but you keep rehabituating a self-cherishing mind. A different way of the self-cherishing will arise. And then you're back at stage one. So in the end, even if you rehabituate, it will still be self-cherishing. So instead of going into the symptoms, it strikes at the root cause. That's why this text is called mind training, and that's why it's so effective. And that's why it's so powerful, actually. Although it's very simple, it talks about karma and cause and effect, but actually it's much deeper. All right? The way it's phrased. Okay, I see. Thank you for your explanation. You're welcome. Sharon says, Dharma versus samsaric activities. Given how our samsaric minds operate, we only want to enjoy and have fun. What many don't know or realize that this fun and enjoyment will ultimately not benefit us. Sharon, very good. That's very good. But also, it is not about making fun something to be guilty about, something to feel like, oh, it's bad. It's not. It's about managing it, because all of us have very heavy attachments. And so what we do is we study more Dharma, we apply the Dharma, and we do more Dharma practice so that our attachments and our fun become less. We don't remove it completely because we still need it. Why? Because we're very attached. If we completely go cold turkey, it's like a heavy smoker, us, and just give up smoking. They will be shivering, there will be like withdrawal symptoms, right? So yes, that will happen to us if we completely remove all fun. So what happens is, instead of removing all completely, we gradually cut down, and then we study, we understand our condition and situation, and then we apply, and then even what is virtuous, what is boring, what is, retreats, pujas, Dharma talks by Pastor David Lai, we will sharp weapons again. It's even that which is very boring and is very monotonous and very technical becomes fun because you're learning. So eventually, until the time comes, so we have to balance, we have to manage. So that's my message, and using this, all right? Okay, Chung says this. Yes, generally speaking, the premise is habituations causes karmic seeds and throwing karma. However, in most cases, in a particular karmic seed does extinguish, but which leads to other negative karma to arise. The last part is a bit iffy. When a karmic seed is extinguished, how does it lead to other negative karma to arise? I don't get that part. Perhaps you want to elaborate further? Chung? And Mr. Lam says, Pastor, is watching a movie in a cinema once in a while considered? No, it's not a vice. Mr. Lam, watching a movie, shopping, having fun with our, going, bicycling, exercising, all these things, computer games, reading a romance novel for some of us. All those things are not vice. Vice is actually more severe in a sense, like gambling is a vice. That's across the board, okay? Unless you're a gambling addict, you will not consider it a vice. But gambling is a vice. Drinking is a vice. What else is a vice? The normal things as what vice is called. What vice is defined as, gambling, drinking, those kind of things. Maybe even smoking, stuff like that. Okay, I know smokers will beg to differ, but let's not go there. Trung says, I like the wheel of sharp weapons because it tells us that we can change karma that arises for us. Oh yes, that's the whole premise about karma. But the actual book is not about karma. That's not the base. It's using karma to get to the root of karma, which is our self-cherishing mind, in order for us to develop bodhicitta. When you uproot self-cherishing, naturally arises bodhicitta. That means great compassion. All right? So it's very skillful in that sense, in the way it's worded, in the way it's formulated, this text. All right. Xiao. Oh, you're referring to Chung. My assumption, this is from Alex Cheng. My assumption was if we people are not aware of the wrongs and kept doing it over and over again, habituation, and are not capable to have that realization could be due to karma obscuration, then it sounded like it will never end. Let me see. What you're saying is that, yes, true. But rather than, you see, all this, you know how many verses there are? There is actually 119 verses. Okay, so the majority of the verses is attacking one aspect of the habituation, as you call it, on another. So what happens is you may remove one, but something else will come up. You remove another one, something else will come up. Why will it come up? Because the root cause is not removed. That's my answer to you. So it's not rather to remove the habituation, it is actually to remove the cause of the habituation. So that's more important, and that's what I think this book is trying to, this text is trying to accomplish, is to remove the root cause of it, because it's from the self-cherishing mind that arises from this. So how do we do that? We'll be talking about probably another session about that, because it's a huge thing about developing bodhicitta. But in order to develop bodhicitta, we have to have an understanding of how our self-cherishing and self-grasping mind works. Then when we develop bodhicitta, we're able to uproot it completely. All right, so this text is very important, I think. And then Chung says this. No, not Chung. Sharon says this. I think it becomes a vice when that activity becomes an obsession and makes you have strong attachment and leads us to do something harmful, either to ourselves or our people around us. I generally, most activities when you do in excess will become very, very negative. But generally, the idea about vice is usually something that is inherently, which like drinking and all that. So I would prefer to go on the convention here. But what you say is not wrong. What you say is not wrong. Conventionally, it's certain types of activities like drinking, gambling, and all that, womanizing, and stuff like that. Those are vice. Those are real vice. Okay. So since I have some time, I started at verse 13. I should go to 23. Yeah, I'll go to 23. When our minds are disturbed and we feel great frustration that things never happen the way that we wish. Oh, doesn't this happen to all of us? This is the wheel of sharp weapons returning full circle upon the wrongs we have done. Till now we have caused interfering disturbance when others will focus on virtuous acts. Hereafter, let's stop causing such interruption. So when we feel we are disturbed, we feel unhappy, we feel depressed, we feel angry that whatever we wish to accomplish never goes the way we want. You know, this is a very open statement here. So it could be any situation. It could be a personal one, a work one. It could be, a situation that is social or formal, like in work, like in social, as in like family or with friends, or socially. So whatever situation it is, if it doesn't come to our satisfaction always, and it makes us feel angry, it makes us feel disturbed, angry, frustrated, jealous, whatever emotions that may arise, this is because we have created disturbance for people who is doing virtuous things. So when people are doing what is virtuous acts? For example, people who do something good doesn't necessarily mean it's religious. Virtuous acts does not necessarily mean religious. It could be something that is like doing charity. It could be something like a path of career to be a doctor, to help others. It could be a work of activism. It could be a charitable endeavor. It could be that. It does not necessarily mean just spiritual incline or just about pujas and meditation and all that. It includes that, but it does not necessarily mean that alone. All right, we must be clear about that. So what happens is when we create a disturbance, meaning we say things or we do things that prevent people from accomplishing those works, the wheel of sharp weapons will come back to us. A wheel of sharp weapons is just a beautiful poetic way of saying karma. The karma will come back to us. And karma is not karma as in actions, it's the result of your actions. The result of the actions will come back to us. We will feel frustrated because our own personal endeavors will not be accomplished. All right, so it's very general and quite simple to understand. This is one of the causes. There are other causes, but this is one of the causes. Okay, and Sharon asked this: when our minds are disturbed and we feel great frustration that things never happen the way we wish, would this mean our obstacles? Oh yes, there's definitely an obstacle when you wish, but generally this kind of obstacle is towards work and endeavors that are, I would think, non-spiritual nature, not necessarily a Dharma work and all that. Perhaps it's more like personal, about that benefits us personally, I think. And this is because, it doesn't necessarily mean spiritual work, but it could be, because it's a very open-ended one. All right. So I'll go to the next one. When nothing we do ever pleases our gurus, this is the wheel of sharp weapons returning full circle upon the wrongs that we have done. Till now, with our gurus, we have feigned pious manners. but out of their presence have reverted to sin. Hereafter, let's try to be less hypocritical and take all the teachings sincerely to heart. I think this will strike a lot of people. A lot of people are like this. In front of the gurus, they're, oh, Rinpoche, I will do whatever you say. They will prostrate to Rinpoche. They will say, they'll promise this, they'll promise that. Then outside the teaching hall, outside the drang, outside of Kechara, forget already. Everything's tossed into the wind. So, hence, what happens is it displeases the guru. It displeases the guru. It makes them feel not happy all the time, and because we have been hypocritical. We say one thing and we do another. Hypocritical means what? Being a hypocrite means what? When we say we will do something and we don't. When we pretend to respect Rinpoche, we prostrate to Rinpoche means we respect, isn't it? You only bow down, you cow down to someone you have respect, isn't it? This is general human etiquette. Normally, when we put our forehead to the ground towards somebody, means we put this person is higher than us. This person sits above us, figuratively speaking. So when this person sits above us, it means whatever they ask of us, we should do. But we don't. So what happens is we create disturbances in Rinpoche's, your guru's mind. It creates obstacles for us. All right, so that's not good for us. So this hypocrisy will result in our teachers being unhappy. And you know what? It's very bad karma to displease your guru. To not only displease your guru, all of us, if you're close or if you have proximity to Rinpoche, you have displeased him from time to time. That's normal. But what I mean is when you displease it continuously. This verse talks about a continuous displeasing of your teacher, and when the teacher are not happy, you don't want to speak to you, refuse to see you, have nothing to tell you, no advice, whatever it is, then it means that you have been hypocritical. And some gurus, some gurus, what happens is they have clairvoyance. They don't need to see it; they can feel it from you. They can feel it by looking at you, being near you. They can already feel your hypocrisy. And when they can feel your hypocrisy, they will act like that. That's why there's some teachers that are, they go into really like, with some people, they don't want to be near them. They ask, please, to ask someone else instead. There are some teachers like that, because they have clairvoyance, they can feel the hypocrisy. So we do not want that. We can lie to people around us, but we cannot lie to ourselves. And most important is we cannot lie to our karma. So we cannot say one thing and do another, because that's lying. We are literally lying. When we're trying to lie to ourselves, most of the time we try to fool ourselves. We shouldn't do that. Okay, the last one for tonight. All right. When others find fault with whatever we are doing, and people seem eager to blame only us, this is the wheel of sharp weapons returning full circle upon us from the wrongs we have done. Till now we have been shameless, not caring about others. We have thought that our deeds did not matter. We have thought that our deeds did not matter at all. Hereafter, let's stop our offensive behavior. Ooh, strong one. This is talking about when people always find fault in us. We always the scapegoat for people. People want to place the blame squarely upon you all the time. Why? It's because we're not. It's interesting. It says here, we've been shameless and we do not care for people. How does that correlate? That's the interesting bit. When people doesn't what it's trying to say is people don't respect us. It's very simple. This verse is people don't respect us because why? Because we have not exhibited behavior that people would we will respect us, or we have distanced ourselves in such a way we're cold, and then people, we're supposed to be close, could be colleagues, could be way, and so people do not respect us. So that's why they like to pin blame on us, because they don't respect us. That's one aspect of it. So we have been shameless, and we have been uncaring. So what means this? We are careless with these people, with people who are close to us. We have been careless, and we have done things that harm them. Whether we realize or not, most likely we have not realized. That's why careless. We have not realized how we have harmed them. Sometimes it's a cutting word. Sometimes it's a criticism. Sometimes it's just being cold. When we should be caring for people when we don't. That's not good, because people are feeling people. Okay, that didn't come out right. Feeling people. People are sensitive. People will feel your intentions, and when the moment when people are down and we don't do anything about it, or people are attacked, let's say a loved one or a friend or a family accused of something, and we know the truth, or we're in a position where we could have opened our mouth and said something, and we didn't, and that's when we've been shameless, and we've been uncaring, and when people see that, they'll be hurt. And they hurt, and so when another situation arises, so it's easy for them to accuse us. It's easy for them to, because when they feel hurt, their feeling of closeness is shattered. When the feeling of closeness is shattered, you just become a stranger to them. Although you could carry a title of, a label of a sibling or a relative. When you don't do anything to help someone, and people will feel that. I think a lot of people come across such situations before, with family, with friends, with loved ones, and it's quite hurtful, because they could have done something, but they didn't. They rather keep quiet. They rather not do anything. So I think it addresses this. So the karma will come back, in a sense that they or other people, doesn't necessarily the same person, doesn't necessarily mean the same person will retaliate. It could be the karma accumulated from doing that. Even when you don't do something when you should be doing, don't think there's no karma. You may be thinking karma means action ma. So when there's non-action, no karma lah. No. By not doing something that we could have done is karma. Because we cannot fool ourselves. We cannot fool karma. Karma is a force. It's not a deity or a being that judges us. It's a force. And we exude a certain force when we can do something and we don't. That non-action exudes action. It is a form of action. So the results will come back to us. All right? Chung says this, that would not be understanding karma, that we may have not created the causes for something to bloom. That also be self-cherishing mind. Okay, let me read it again. Oh, I see. This is in response to the question about obstacles, right? That wouldn't be not understanding karma, that we may have created the causes for something to bloom. That would also be, okay, never mind. That's a bit minimalist. Chung, try not to be so minimalist with your words. Elaborate a little bit more. Thank you. Alex asked this question, but theoretical scenario, if someone attempted to jump from a building but you can't stop it, would that result in the karma too? Okay, the key here is you can't. In what circumstances is you cannot? Is it because it's too far? Is it because it's too far, you cannot reach the person? It's because there's too much situation happening. So if you can and you don't, that's the karma that's accumulated. If you cannot and you don't, it's fine. But I'm sure a lot of good people have guilty conscience about that too. But the karma will not be There will not be a karma accumulated. It's different. When you cannot and you don't, there's a huge difference. Ability to do something and you don't, and inability to do something and you don't. I mean, if you can't do it, then you don't do it. Whether you do it or you don't, you can't. The result will be you cannot. But you can, and you could have done it. Isn't that a huge difference? It's a huge difference to me. So karmically, I think that's the difference. So if you could and you don't, then the karma will be immense. It will be a big negative karma. All right? So it will come back to you in this case. All right, so I will end today on this note. And let me reiterate again. The source of this text is not about karma, although it seemed like it. The source about this text, the basis, not the basis, the very target of this text is to cut the self-cherishing mind and the two aspects are the self-cherishing mind and the self-grasping mind. Already in the beginning of this session, I spoke about the difference. Thank you, Chung. You shared in the previous session about that quote. So I elaborated a little at the beginning of this. And if you want to, you can listen to this teaching again and if you have questions, you can ask me on the next session or on this session. You just put it there. You just tag me, David Lai. Okay? Thank you very much. I will be ending now. And there is something by Pastor Taming. That's the nature of samsara. Samsara never satisfies our desires. We created samsara and hence should experience the disadvantages and its shortcomings. Okay, thank you. Chanju Sancho Rinpoche Maki Pana Kyushe Keba Yama Mi Payang Godin Godu Pewasho Tony Tonga Rinpoche Mange Pana Kyushe Keba Yama Mi Payang Godin Godu Pewasho Daso Jini Sabagi Wadi Nanandra Gunlang Kampanda Jeba Jozo Lozon Dropa Yutan Pimpurendo Sa Shesho Kewa Gundu Yona Lamada Jemi Joki Pala Lang Chachi Sada Langi Yondan Rajuni Doji Changi Gobang Yotosho Gewadi Yuruda Lama Sogi Jukuni Juaji Malupa De Sala Gopasho, Chujapo Songaba, Chosonama Bewala, Gigi Shamajuada, Antoni Mawanshansho, Dada Shengi Dusundan, George Letani, Gewa Lozon Draba, Tamparimpa, Gyushe, Nimodala Santale, Nemekong Intellection, Yasantanto Delapel, Contrason Gilo, Contrason Motoso, Contrason Tashi, Sho, Jason Lama Kosoratanshi, Nam Kachini Juki Padan, Lawson Temi, Drumming Samsung, Drumusa Tatuni, Gyushe, Gadi Rawi Coation Gamden, Pendendero Malokiana, Cherese wanted in Gasoi, Shop is it Badu Den, Yuji, Hong Dombengo Drumaluba, then the dollar said so, Gordon Temple Lojana gave us shook themselves. Thank you, everybody. Good night.